Kletos is to call. Para is beside. Like paratrooper, beside the troops. The word para, the preposition para, means beside. Come on up to the next two words. Ek and ex means out of. See how the circle is and the arrow coming out of the circle? Ek means out of. Then you've got the word over the box, anti, and it means over or against. At the bottom of the box you have pro, which means before or in front of. Like professor, before one speaks, the professor. Pro. Okay. Now, there are some prepositions that are not represented in this graph. And I want to talk to you about them in just a few moments. But I'd like for you to get accustomed to these, so I want you to take some notes. First of all, the preposition, while you're looking at your chart, ana. Alpha, ni, alpha, ana. Remember what I taught you in times past? Let me give it to you again. I laid this foundation early on for you because I'm looking out for you. I want you to know about these prepositions. Remember three things I gave you about prepositions? There was, remember the root meaning? Root, and the resultant, and the remote, remember? If you go to the Strong's Concordance, and that's a good book, good concordance for anybody who don't know Greek, but all you're going to get in a concordance like that, and it's a good one, I used it for years, is the root meaning. There's also, as we've already said, well, I'd like to put it this way. A preposition, you get the root meaning, but you can also find a resultant meaning. And that resultant meaning can mean that it's used several times in the New Testament with a little different slant, a little more meaning than the root meaning is. And then you've got the remote, which means it's rarely used in the New Testament, but sometimes the author of one of the New Testament books might use that preposition in a remote way. And in order to fully understand what he's writing, you've got to look at all three and decide, is this the normal usage of this preposition? Have you seen it before? Is it the resultant meaning? Or is this a remote meaning? Something that he's in other words, he's coined a word, if you will. The resultant and the remote meaning. Now, let me give you these. The word ana, the root meaning is up. The root meaning is up. Let's look on our chart. Do you see it there anywhere?
Yes.
Where is it?
No,
It's
above the box.
Auntie.
On the right above the box.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even talk about it, did I? I'm sorry. Ana, it means up. Okay, and kata, while we're there, means down. That's the root meaning of these words. That's all that's listed here, is the root meaning. But notice, please, pardon me, there is a resultant meaning of the word ana. And I want to turn in in your translation, in your King James Version, to Revelation chapter 4 and verse 8. I want to show you a resultant meaning of the word anah. Or if you can find it in your Greek New Testament, turn in your Greek New Testament to Revelation chapter 4, verse 8. I'm going to read it for you in the Greek text. This reason I didn't have you to turn there, but you can if you want to. Revelation 4:8 has this to say: Echon anah vetukkas ex, which translated means having wings to the number of 6. So, anah in the resultant meaning can mean to the number of. Having wings to the number of 6. What does the King James say?
Each.
Each one has 6 wings? Each one having 6 wings?
Each having 6 wings were full of eyes.
Okay.
And within.
To the number of. The word anah is in the Greek text there. And it means to the number of. So it don't only mean up. It can also mean, the resultant meaning, to the number of 6. Okay. All right, that's one little nugget. Let's go down to anti. You see it there on your chart? It's over the box. See, the root meaning of anti is over or against. This is going to be a blessing to you. According to a manual grammar of the Greek New Testament by Dana and Manti, watch this. The word anti can mean, stand up here, Billy. That preposition anti means face to face, like 2 boxers. That's what it means. So, watch this. It not only means face to face or against, the word against, it can also mean, that's the root meaning, is face to face or against.
You mean the resultant?
That's the root meaning.
Face to face?
Yes, sir. The root meaning. Now, on your chart, I know what it says. It says that anti is, pardon me, over and against. Well, against, that's the idea. Face to face or against one another. Gives the idea of 2 boxers, 2 fighters. So, but look at this, please. That's found in Luke 24:17. Antivalete, throwing into each other's face or against one another. Antivalete, to throw something in somebody's face, face to face. But listen to what this author says. There is conclusive proof now that the dominant meaning for anti in the 1st century, that's when the Bible was written, was instead of. Instead of. I'd like you to jot that down if you will. There is conclusive proof now that the dominant meaning for anti in the 1st century was instead of. And Moulton and Milligan says, by far, the commonest meaning of anti is to simply means instead of. Now, here's you some references to look up later on where that word is used. Matthew 2:22. Listen to what it says. Matthew 2:22. Archelaus was reigning over Judea instead of, anti, instead of his father Herod. Luke 11:11. And he, instead of a fish, will give him a serpent. 1 Corinthians 11:15 says, and here's the point I wanted to make. I know a pastor. He's a good man. But he doesn't understand this very word right here. I'm fixing to give you. I'm going to show you something. It's abundantly proven that the word "anti" in the Greco-Roman world, when the Bible was being written, meant instead of. Now get this. This pastor has preached to his church, to his women, that when they come to the house of God, or anywhere where there's a man at, they've got to have something on their head. Because in the Corinthian letter, Paul says, or the translators make Paul say, that she's to have a covering over her head, right? Look at this, please. Turn to 1 Corinthians, if you will. Find it right quickly, folks. Pardon me. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 15, and I want somebody to read it from the King James Version.
But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering.
For the King James translators translated "anti" for. But since there's ample proof in the New Testament that it should be translated instead of, now read it. Pastor, will you read it again and use the word instead of?
Yeah, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her instead of a covering.
Oh, doesn't that make a lot of sense now? Boy, hadn't he missed it. Those poor little old women, I went to his church, and there's 50 women got their heads covered with some kind of something, another cloth or whatever. Because he's ignorant of that one word, "anti." Yes, sir, Mike.
The HCSB version says, but that if a woman has long hair, it is her glory, for her hair is given to her as a covering.
Okay. That's pretty good, isn't it?
That's pretty close.
As a covering. Or, the word even better is her hair is given to her instead of her having to wear a covering. That's something.
Oh, yes.
One little preposition.
HCSB, yeah.
But there's something else. Somebody turned to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. When I saw this, I just got up and walked around my desk, round and around and around, praising God. I couldn't have it. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. Somebody read that, will you?
Looking into Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God.
That makes that verse saying that the cross, in that word "for," isn't that what he said? For the joy that was set before him, that cross was going to be a joyous thing to the Lord Jesus. Well, in one sense, being obedient to his Father, I suspect it was. Have you ever read, and I know you have, Matthew 27, Isaiah 53, and Psalms 22 about the crucifixion? It's anything but joyous. The word "for" there is our word "anti." Now, read it like the Apostle Paul meant for it to be understood.
Who, instead of instead of the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand.
Listen, folks, when he was in heaven, all he knew was joy. But he came to this earth and left that joy. And instead of that joy, he went to the cross. Does that make sense? The word unto instead of. All those wonderful nuggets that you can dig out just using prepositions. All right, let's move on. Well, no, it's time for us to take a break. Let's take a break right there. Let you stretch your legs a moment, get you something to eat, refresh yourself. What about a preposition now? Can't wait to dig in, can you? Find those other prepositions, what they mean, their remote meanings and so on. I've been chasing prepositions through the New Testament.